Hey, can you hear me now?
I can.
Perfect. How you doing, Tiffany?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, doing great. Thanks. Listen, thanks so much for joining us. Was that a blast from the past that video, right? I mean, can you believe that was what, 2018?
I know it's hard to imagine time has just flown by.
Yeah, it really has flown by. So, for those that people that don't know who you are, let me give kind of a quick rundown. I had to write this down. There's so much of it, right? So, you're the current 2020 chair for the Board of Trustees at the National Association of Home Builders Building Systems Council. You were
Yes,
nominated to chairperson in 2019, the second vice chair and associate of the year in 2018, which was that video we just watched. And then you have 25 years in the home building business with Residential Warranty Company, which warranties houses throughout the country. And you've been a member of the NAHB for 30 years, and you've been a BSC, a Building Systems Council member, for over a decade now. How awesome is that?
it is awesome. It's amazing. It's such a joy.
It really, really is. So I kind of gave everybody your background, but fill us in. Let's find out who Tifanee is. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what has you so passionate about this industry.
Well, my passion comes from my marriage. I married into the business 40 some years ago, which is scary to say in itself. My husband's always been in this business. His father was in this business. So I learned it from the ground up. And then, as you said, 25 years ago, I had an awesome opportunity to go to work at Residential Warranty Company. Initially started in the claims process, moved into manufactured housing, and then was fortunate enough to move into what we know as the off-site side of it with
Right.
modular panelized log and concrete. So it's been able for me to share my passion not only personally but through my job as well.
Sure, sure. And with that, so you've been part of the industry. You guys have been in the home building industry. You and your husband, like you said. What had you get into the Building Systems Council and being such a big part of this?
Well, it was just part of my job when it started out. I had no idea when I took over for the company with the modular panelized side of it that BSC was going to be one of the events that I started attending regularly with their now summit. And it has just afforded me an opportunity to grow within the industry, help educate people with what we do that benefits the industry, and then support the industry and the Building Systems Council, both professionally and on a personal level.
Sure, sure. Why don't we dive into what the BSC, Building Systems Council, I mean, what have you been up to? I mean, we've all been at home, kind of tied up in our own homes. Tell us a little bit about, what you're working on, what we have to look forward to when we all come out of this stay-at-home order and what have you. Can you kind of run? I'm sure there's a laundry list. Why don't you let us have it?
There
Bring
is
it
a
on.
laundry list, and we have been busy behind the scenes. We do have committees that work diligently at making sure that we stay on top of the issues that our members need. And of course, with the support of NAHB, we're able to continue that work. Also adding in their lobbying power when it comes to different issues throughout the country, because as you know, we are a national organization. So we have to address issues nationwide, not just locally. And not just for modular, panelized log, concrete, they all have their different issues. So we've been able to work behind the scenes that way, as well as continue to work on education tracks that we're able to provide to both our members and potential members. And we're really trying to work hard at bringing builders into that fold to educate them on offsite construction to help enhance the industry and grow it.
Sure. What do you think the biggest issue is with the industry as far as growing it and getting people involved? Year after year, there's more and more interest now happening in offsite construction. The BSC, I was saying even this past year out at the big show in Vegas that we're going to need a bigger room because it is growing. But it's been kind of slow to get to where it is today. And what do you think it is? Is it education? The education part, people really understanding what offsite construction means, Or is it just people are stuck in their old ways, and why change it if it's not broke? Was the mentality up until this point?
Well, I think it's a little of both. I think education is certainly the biggest part of it. In my daily job, speaking with builders who do offsite construction, one of the biggest things is education. Manufacturers are always trying to attract new builders. Builders sometimes see that as an easy way to increase their build numbers, but don't always have the fine details of orchestrating that first house,
Right.
getting it to them, understanding that they know they need a crane, for example, but where they're at may have a different timeline for allowing transportation than where the home is coming from. Exactly what's needed to complete that project when they get it from the factory. And I think working on education through BSC is going to be a huge factor going forward with that, both bringing manufacturers and builders to the table and understanding where that education process has to go.
Yeah, for sure. Can you talk about any of the educational programs that you're currently working on?
Well, we don't have them set in stone. Unfortunately, the situation we're in right now, fingers crossed, when Summit arrives, we're going to be able to go forward with that. It's difficult to nail someone down at this point because no one knows for sure what's going to happen. But we are going to add an educational track specifically for builders. And we started a little bit of that last year with some roundtable discussions with builders new to the BSC, builders that have been around the BSC. And I'm going to say builders in general, regardless of what type of offsite construction you're doing, to find out what they need, what they want, maybe what their issues were with that first house, and try to bridge some of that education with our builders to enhance our cause.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So why don't we just plug it while we have it, right? The BSC's summit is actually in Atlanta this year.
It is. It is in Atlanta, September 27th through the
Right.
29th.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be an excellent event going forward. As I said, we do have those education tracks. We always have excellent speakers. We're always able to get an overview of the economy from the housing side from NAHB economists, which is always full of wonderful information. And currently, we do believe that we're on track to really move forward and come out of this once people are allowed to go back to purchasing homes.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, let's get back to talking a little bit about this education side of this, and with the summits and everything else that you do, because there's the education side for the builder, the consumer, so to speak, for the BSC, but then there's also the economic side of what's happening. We're having speakers like Greg Ugaldi, who was the past chair, immediate past chair that was there. Tobin was there. Right, from talking about, and he was a head lobbyist. But I think there's so much information, and there are so many heavy hitters now showing up to the Building Systems Council parties, as I'll just call it the party.
It is a party.
We have a good time, but they're showing up now more so than they ever have in the past, and a lot of them are saying this is the future. It's not if it's going to happen. It's already happening. It's just a matter of when it's the main way that we build in this country. You agree with that?
I do. And the other part of education, which some people don't necessarily always think of, is the member to member. We have members there from all aspects of the building industry. We have manufacturers, we have builders, we have people who provide not only hard supplies to them to enhance their products, but then we have the networking skills, the advertising, getting your word out. So member to member in this organization is, I think, one of the strongest features that we offer. You're talking to people from all over the country. And when we stay in our own little area, sometimes we don't always think outside the box as to what might work for us in our area. So being able to connect and share ideas and success stories Our members are never afraid to share those with someone asking. It's not a big
Yeah.
secret for everybody to just sit there closed mouth. They want to share their success stories, and we all want to see the industry grow.
Yeah, we really do. And you're absolutely right. In this industry, I have yet to be to any event, whether it's BSC or other, and find it hard to have a conversation. Everybody's willing to help each other. You're not on an island by yourself, even though it feels like it that way for a lot of people every day. But I think the resource of information that the BSC supplies to its members, networking wise, supplier wise, ideas, continuing education, I think is phenomenal. And I think that you don't really understand it till you're part of it. And when you become part of it, just like yourself, you don't leave. Even if we wanted you to, you're staying, you say?
I'm staying. I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
You're right. You're right. And we also then on the other side of that have things in place for consumers. So through the website, consumers can go on, they can download information about the different types of offsite construction that's available. So we're doing our part across the board to not only educate our industry members, but to educate the consumers as well.
Sure, sure. So the members that are currently joining that you're seeing or that we've been picking up, I mean, we're getting international members now. There were people from Europe, from Africa, Ireland, Poland at our last meeting.
Yes.
And some were there with translators.
You're right. They were. It's amazing when and that's what I said. It's not just your area.
Yeah.
That you can learn from. We can learn from people all over the world. Everyone has a different way of ending up with the same product. Might look a little different, but it serves the same purpose.
It does.
And we may or may not be able to build that exact house, if you will, but we can certainly learn from their experiences and maybe enhancements they've done in their factories that would help us as well. And again, that just goes back to the ability to connect with all kinds of folks in the industry and share ideas and a common goal.
Yeah, for sure. Devin Perry, I have to mention him because he's done a phenomenal job getting the BSC to where it is today. And I mean, what an advocate for us at the NAHB as well. I mean, when you think about how big the NAHB is, Devin has been pushing and pulling and fighting for the BSC members for a long time, and it's really starting to pay off. What are you seeing today versus even 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 2018, with the attention that we're getting from the higher ups at the NAHB?
We are getting a lot more attention, which is helping Devin move our cause up the ladder. We're always looking for NAHB as a whole to recognize offsite construction, and we're seeing that more and more. And I think one of those ways is through the International Builders Show. Our industry has gotten more stage time at that show with presentations, being able to go into the other councils and do presentations, as well as Devin has done a fabulous job with our lounge at the International Builders Show with bringing in speakers, bringing in just general attendees to see what we're all about, talk to us, learn more about it. And the lounge has grown tremendously, which again, just attracts people to the Building Systems Council, the offsite construction side, and those other educational sessions that are going on in general at the IBS show.
Sure, sure. Do we know who, are we allowed to talk about who the speakers might be in Atlanta this year? Is there any teasers we can put out there? Or is that still?
There are not, but as soon as we can, I'll get those to you.
I know it. All right, Tifanee. So what is it would you like to cover? I know you told me you got a chicken scratch board full of stuff that we want to talk about. Why don't we dive into it? I've been asking you a lot of questions, but I really like to hear from you what you've been working on and what you feel is really important to tell everybody out there right now, whether you're a member of the BSC or not.
Well, a couple of things that I'd like to point out, whether you are a member or you're thinking about it, because it certainly is worth your time, is that by joining the Building Systems Council, you're not just joining the council, you're already a member of a local HBA, which puts you as a member of NAHB, which has lots of resources available. It also provides a competitive advantage for you, giving you education, letting consumers know that you are a member of a huge organization that backs what you do. It is giving you business development information. It's giving you a nationwide marketing exposure. So there's lots of things that come out of being a BSC member that we encourage not only our current members to take advantage of, but any potential members to look at as well. And then a few of the other things that are on this schedule that we can take advantage of. We have a log house open, an open house month for log construction. That's a mouthful. That's in July. We promote a building systems week in August. So there's lots of things that we're doing to enhance the consumer education for those types of construction. We do sometimes hear people push back that consumers aren't really sold on offsite construction, and that's because they don't understand it. So maybe if you are thinking about it or you are doing offsite construction, you could use some of the benefits that the BSC offers to better explain that process and those advantages to the customers that you're seeing. As I said, the networking is really important. And I looked that up. What does networking mean? So it's in the dictionary, it says it's an arrangement of intersecting horizontal and vertical lines. And is that just not so true? People come from all walks of life to the BSC. Right. And I just think that's a great way to put networking out there for us. Again, whether it's just to visit with us and get to know us and see how we can benefit your business. If you're a builder and you're thinking about offsite construction. And I realize that's easier in some areas of the country than others, but we're starting to see growth in all areas of the country. There are more factories going in, which should tell builders that this is a very strong, growing part of the house building industry. And I think this year is going to be much more important member to member with this little bit of downtime we've had. I think members need to be able to reach out to organizations like ours and find the best way to overcome obstacles that are in their way. I did mention the International Builders Show.
Yep.
We also have a link on the website for consumers. As I said, they can get information, but then they're able to list their information that they're interested in offsite construction. And that information is forwarded to members in their general building area. So we provide leads to our members as well. And we really need for those to be followed up significantly. And then the other thing, kind of a downside, but I think it's worth mentioning when we talk about NAHB and the economics that they provide to us. Year over year, sales were only down, and I say only 16.3%. And that's across the board for all areas of housing. I think we're set in a perfect situation to really take advantage of those folks that have put off building a house in offsite construction because they've already lost time. And we know that our build time can be less and much more efficient and economical for them. So I think we really have to work hard as members of the offsite construction to get that message out to our home buyers.
Yeah, I completely agree. It takes all of us rowing in the same direction to pull this together and to keep spreading the word and spreading the message. I had a conversation last week with Jerry McCall from Integra, and we were really talking about as an industry as a whole. And this is what's so great about the Building Systems Council is, it's modular, it's panelized, it's zips, it's concrete. So it's logged, and I don't want to miss anybody. If I missed it, maybe containers will be in there soon, right? I think the thing is though about us having a message together, and that's what you guys do for us. You help drive the message. I say it all the time. When offsite's only 4 or 5% of the industry, there's only one way to go, and that's up. Nobody has the secret sauce because if you did, we wouldn't be 4 or 5% of this industry. So
Correct.
yeah, right. So we need to be working together, and I'm going to carry on that conversation with Jerry McCall as well, just because I think it's that important. We should all be pulling together and spreading the word together, just like you said. In fact, Jerry sent a message in here, and it plays into like kind of the social distancing and the fiber network you were talking about as far as all the crisscross lines coming together. It says, Dave, offsite offers many advantages in terms of safety, particularly social distancing requirements. Could BSC use social media to highlight this to industry as building? Is there more? As what? Oh, as building starts to pick up. There's a little arrow. It's that means up. So yeah. So did you could BSC use social media to highlight this to industry as building picks up?
I think we can. I think BSC can. I think all our members can. I think it's something that we need to look at on all our websites.
Right.
And I say that not as being BSC, but as being a salesperson. Look at your websites, get them updated, get this information on there. If you're a member of the Building Systems Council and you're not sure how to incorporate those messages into your website, call somebody. We'll help you. Somebody can help you. Somebody's already done it. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. And I think that is a very valid point that we need to continue educating the customers and moving forward with that and knowing how to combat negative publicity and negative sales that are coming from a site builder when they're looking at both.
Social media is a strange thing because anybody can run the mouth and be a keyboard ninja behind the computer, right? But the reality of it is, even what I find, because I'm in front of the camera all the time and I get negative comments every once in a while, it's an opportunity for you to address something.
Absolutely, it always is.
And most time it's because people don't understand what you're saying, where you're coming from. And I think that's kind of the important part, because emails, text messages, they can come across as if you were just the meanest person in a text, but you had no intention to be that way. Right. So I do love that. I do love the fact that you said that, if you don't know how to get the message out there, or you need help, with us getting our logos and, the NHB information up, or sharing the message, that there's education on that, and this is another reason why being part of the Building Systems Council and a member of the NAHB is so powerful. Even for myself, I live and breathe social media these days. It's kind of what I do, and I like to have these conversations with experts, such as yourself, and people that are so passionate about this industry. And I say the same thing. If anybody needs something, I'm more than happy to help you work it out, because it's really, really important. It's super important to have these messages constantly going out there and educating, not just, us as the builders or as the suppliers or the manufacturers, but the consumer education is a very, very big part of this. And I couldn't agree more.
Correct. And when you talk about getting the message out there and BSC and the changes to the summit that have been occurring over the last several years, keeping in mind that my first summit, if you will, which it was called Showcase then, there were probably 500 people there, which was awesome. We don't have those numbers today. Companies have condensed. They have merged. So that's one reason for it. The second thing we hear, and when you talk about combating negative comments, I'm too busy.
Right.
How are you too busy to take 3 days out of your year to go learn how to increase and enhance your business? And I always say, again, I'm in sales. I'm a vendor at these events, and I do many of them a year, less this year, but many a year.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, your vendors are the people that can allow you to make more money and lower costs, because we're always striving to enhance our products, to increase the benefit to your customer, and allow you the best possible way to work items into your construction and see cost savings across the board.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. You know, it's almost this day and age, the education side of this, where it's going. You know, you got to keep growing. You got to keep learning. Like this whole COVID thing. I mean, think about it. If you didn't figure out how to use a Zoom call, you're dead in the water.
And
Right.
you should have been in the plexiglass business.
You should have been. Yeah, yeah, you should have been. Right?
Because all the builders are buying plexiglass.
Yeah.
To put up their sneeze shields,
right,
so that
right.
they're able to conduct doing business. We in Pennsylvania, for example, they just allowed on Friday construction to move forward.
Right.
We were shut down on construction here. There were some states that it was considered essential, and we all know if we're in the industry, it is essential. And when you're not able to build houses and you have people calling wanting to know where their house was, they've designed it and they got stopped in their tracks. I really think this is going to be the benefit to us at this point, that we can move forward in a much more concise, productive method and have our materials be there and be available. And it takes a lot less subcontractor participation to get that house done and ready for somebody to move in.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, right now, like you said, you can fast track some of this stuff with offsite construction, and you know, there's a lot of builders that were down and out, traditional site builders that weren't able to do anything, and I think it's going to be a real advantage for the offsite builders to move quickly and come out of this quickly, just for that reason alone. We run the problem of the trade labor, you know, leaving the country. Right. I mean, and not coming back or finding new jobs.
We do. And we have to work as a team in educating to get more workers in our industry, whether it be at the manufacturing level, whether it be at the on-site level to get the work done. And, you know, we've talked about that many times, the difference in the work needed by a subcontractor on offsite construction versus site construction, making sure, again, that you're controlling those costs. One more thing you can do to control your costs and your work time in educating those subcontractors. So again, they're all people that are open to needing that education that we can provide to them. And you've shown it yourself. When you show up at 8 o'clock and there's a house almost done at 4, site construction can't compete with that. And I think those are the kinds of things that we need to get out to our members.
Yeah, for sure. They definitely can't compete with it, you know, but they also have to understand all the value savings in it. And we've had, you know, these conversations 100 times about, you know, the total cycle of a job. It's just not sticks and bricks. Right. And you compare apples to apples, you know, offsite doesn't look so attractive. But when you compare the life cycle of a job and the insurance and the risk reduction and everything that goes with it, you can't compete with it. You really can't compete with it.
There's a lot of hidden costs that people don't always take into effect either. And that is, if you're doing a construction loan and you're paying interest, your time is less, so your interest money you've paid out is less.
Right.
All of your materials that are going into your house is what you're paying for. There's not a dumpster sitting there full of half-cut pieces of lumber that are going to go to landfill somewhere.
Right.
Again, you may have paid for it, but everything you paid for went into your house. It's not being disposed of. So there's a lot of soft costs and hidden costs that go into offsite construction that we need to promote as well.
Oh, well, you got me right there. Let's go. I'm ready. This is my cup of tea. I mean, there's energy savings, there's efficiencies, there's less waste, less in our landfills. The cost savings for the consumer are galore when they actually see how the product is being organized and used. This is oh yeah, I got my soapbox is around here somewhere. I'm about to hop on it. It's time to go because yeah, you're absolutely right. Listen, like you, I've been doing offsite construction for 20 years, and I love the fact that it's so prevalent now, and we're talking about it, and it's all the things you, myself, and so many others that are in our industry have been touting for years and years and years. We cannot keep doing it building the same way we've done for over 100 years. It's stupid. There isn't a stick builder out there that can tell me today that it makes sense, because it doesn't. It really doesn't. I get it comes down to cost and numbers. Here's my soapbox, right?
Yeah.
It comes down to cost and numbers, but there is no way. And I hate to, say it again with Jerry McCall. You are not cutting that wood across the toe of your boot with a saw the same way we're going to cut it with a Hundegger saw in a
right
factory somewhere, in the
Absolutely.
precision that it comes together and the quality of the lumber that we use. Right. So you just have to use your brain a little more, because we got to think up front versus
Absolutely.
causing change orders on the job site because we didn't want to think it through all the way.
Right. And along those lines, I would just say that if you're listening and you're a member with the BSC, and something I've said or you say or one of your other guests bring to the table, and it's something of interest that you think the BSC can provide additional information on, put an education system into one of our programs, please reach out to either myself. I'm sure you would pass it along. You can reach out to Devin at the BSC as well. I mean, we are always looking for input from our members. We don't want to just sit here and decide what you should know. You can tell us what you need to know. And if you're not a member, go to the website. Check it out, see what we have to offer. If you go to NAHB/Building Systems Council, it'll come up. And you can look at all of that information and see what's there for you to look at and what might benefit you day to day.
Yeah, for sure. And, we put it, it's in the description. I believe I have the BSC page as well as the summit page, because we want people to come to Atlanta.
We do want people to come to Atlanta.
I know I'm going to Atlanta. I love Atlanta. Well, let's get into some comments. Tiffany, you know who was joining us today?
Who?
Greg Ugaldi.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah. Greg Ugaldi was on. He was asking, do you post these discussions for members' future access? So, this is a great question, Greg, because yes, we do post it. We have a YouTube channel as well. I really love supporting the BSC and, others, MHBA and what have you. I'm just a big proponent of anybody that supports the offsite construction industry, period. And, hopefully we'll be doing more and more stuff with the NAHB moving forward. Like I said, it's all about driving innovation forward. It's all about doing the right thing and making smart decisions and putting the people out there that are really, like yourself, trying to make a big difference and turn this big old cruise ship in the right direction, because it needs more and more people that are super smart like yourself. So that was Greg Ugaldi. So to answer your question, Greg, couple things. One, yes, there is. I'm going to plug myself now, so you got me. There's a new DaveCooper.live website coming up. It's going to have all these videos, and I will have NAHB stuff on there and backlinks. So all of you that are wondering how to do that, I will be doing that myself. So we'll have that. And let's see. So Alistair Sawyer says, does the NAHB have memberships from overseas manufacturers? Can we register to join? TLC Modular, and is that a different one, Jen? TLC Modular in Vietnam.
We do have international memberships. We welcome them.
Perfect. So maybe Tiffany, we could put a link in the comments after this and send that to them.
Sure.
We do that. That would be a big help. All right, Miles Biggs. You know what? Miles is always, he says, joining late. Not. All right. So not sure if this was addressed, but will the BSC summit be virtual versus in person? Well, that's a good question. We don't know. So I can maybe answer some of this, but I have to do it real lightly because we haven't really ever talked about it so much. But when I'm at the BSC summits, I'm usually posting videos while I'm there. We do have the ability to live stream now. It just depends on what it is we're allowed to live stream. So to answer your question, if I can sneak it in and get away with it and everybody's okay with it, I'll do it. But yeah, I think it's a great idea. And hey, you know what? That's an idea too, Tifanee. Maybe for those that can't join, we could do some virtual stuff to garner attention. Who knows?
Well, I'm conflicted, Dave.
Oh no.
Because we really want people at the summit. It's a little hard to network virtually.
It is. It is.
We have just an outpouring of support from our vendors. And as a vendor, obviously, we need to sell you something. And it's a little hard again to do that virtually. If we couldn't have it at all, I would say go for it 100%. Yeah. But I have to say I'm a little conflicted on that question simply because I really think we need the bodies in the room to get the most benefit out of the information being shared.
Yeah, listen, I 100% agree. There is nothing better than a handshake and face-to-face. Well, maybe not handshakes, elbow
or
bumps.
An elbow.
Right? or nods.
Maybe we can have a contest for elbow bumps.
That's right. That's right. But I no, 100%. I agree with that. You know, there is nothing, even myself, you know, I'm doing all these virtual discussions like we're doing, but it's still not the same.
It really is not.
You don't have the vibe. You don't have all the other stuff happening around you and the excitement happening, you know, and I think that's a big part of this. And doing it this way, same thing, where I was able to do 5-10 of these interviews in a day. You know, I'll drive people nuts, just like people are on Zoom right now if I did this 10 times a day.
Well, and I think it's important for people wanting to attend and take advantage of the information being shared, that when you hear something said on stage or in front of the room, that you're able to walk over and maybe address that personal business situation with them. Yep. And that's the one thing that would be lacking in a video. You might hear something you can take back, but you might have questions that you're unable to get answered because people do share business to business information.
Right.
It's not just general information always. It's information, something that worked for me that might work for you, or how you would go about putting that to work at your business, or a contact such as yourself that could come help your business and enhance what you do on a daily basis.
Yeah, for sure. And I think just reading between the lines with Miles there, I think he was talking about virtual fair type stuff, not live streaming the entire event. I mean, there's been a lot of that virtual fair stuff going on. Housing Innovation Alliance just recently did one. I think that's more where he was going. But if people can attend, again, I think that's always the best way to go. But who knows? We'll see. We're still out. What do we have? Are you seeing new interest, or is there a leading segment within the building systems? For example, panelized versus modular versus concrete, etc. Is one segment picking up faster than another? That's the first question.
Well, I think traditionally we've always seen the two leading councils being modular and log. We're seeing more activity with concrete. Mike Weber is doing an excellent job in promoting that part of it. Panelized has always been there, and this year we have formed an alliance with Zip, which was wonderful. And Jack came up and attended our event and was able to provide additional valuable information to our attendees.
Jack Armstrong.
So I think Devin is doing an excellent job at expanding the circle of information coming into the BSC and expanding that member base.
For sure, for sure. And you say Jack Armstrong?
Yes,
Yeah. Dude, that guy has some energy, huh?
he does.
I love him.
He
He's
does.
a lot of fun. That's somebody that's always fun to be around. That's cool. Good. All right. Another question. How do we get more architects and designers involved in our industry of offsite construction?
Well, as I always say, if you are a builder, call your architect and engineer. Tell them, I'm involved in this great organization. We need your participation. It's
Yeah.
going to help their business as well. It's going to help them understand what we do more in depth on a
Right.
day-to-day basis, and maybe even enhance their business. So we always encourage current members to look at who they're doing business with and share that information. We are seeing some increase at the local HBA levels as builders transition through difficult times across the country, whatever that reason may be.
Yep.
That we're seeing a little more education going in at the local level. And as I said, we have a lot more education going in at the national level through IBS to increase knowledge on off-site construction. But we
Sure.
always encourage one member to invite other members, even if it's just to come attend as a non-member the first time out to the summit, to actually see the value that you're going to get out of attending and being a member.
Sure, sure. Got it. Last question. The BSC Lounge at IBS 2020, definitely more activity / visitors than 2019. What's the plan for 2021?
More visitors than 2020. I know that Devin and the committees will be working on education sessions, and we do poll all the people coming through the lounge, what you liked, what you didn't like, what you want to learn, so that we can take that information back and correlate it and give them the best bang for their buck.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what it's all about, is education and the networking. Right.
It is. It's from building to loans to supplies to add-ons to your home and your customers and your businesses.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. All right, let's give a few shout outs. Jerry from Integra, Greg Ugaldi, Alistar Sawyer, Miles jumped on, Cynthia Connor, Structural Modulars, Colby Swanson says hello. So just some quick ones. My screen never updates faster, and I always get off these things, and then there's like 30 things that I miss. I don't know why. I don't know why LinkedIn doesn't have it figured out yet, but they're working on it. They're working on it. Tifanee, thank you so much. What do you want to leave with?
Well, I think at this point in time, I just want to say that your participation and your videos have been wonderful for me working in my dining room. It's gives you some sense of connection with the outside world and staying on top of what's going on in the industry. Reach out to other people that you know in the industry if you just need to talk or have someone as a soundboard. Somebody will know somebody that can help you with whatever situation you're in. And boy, I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody on the other side, because as an outside sales rep, I feel like I have weights around my ankles right now, and I'm just ready to get out there and visit with all my clients and move on with my day-to-day business, as I'm sure everyone is.
Yeah. You are mobile. I know what before this. I mean, you between being in New Orleans, Connecticut, you do like to go.
I do. I love it. I love to be out with the people. I hate email.
You and me both.
Salespeople were never meant to use email and text messages. I want to pick the phone up. I want to talk to you. I want to know who you are. And I want to help you to the best of my ability.
Yeah, you know what? Same with me. If you send me an email more than a paragraph long, I'm calling you. Bar none.
Yeah.
It takes me longer to write that email than it does just for me to pick up the phone and give you a holler.
Right. Absolutely. I agree.
Well, thank you, Tifanee. We're working hard to connect. As you say, you're working hard to inform, and grow an inclusive audience, you know, within the BSC. And I think it's super, super powerful what you're doing. And I love what you're doing. Ken Semler did a great job as well. I think in Press
Everyone,
Modular.
yes, they've all, you know, when I think about, that's maybe another part of when I think about all the people that I have met from the first day that I walked in a room, thinking about it, 500 people, not knowing a soul, brand new to the BSC, you're never alone.
Yeah.
In those events, everyone reaches out, everyone's so warm, everyone wants to share, and it really is a family community.
It truly is. And well, you can see it just talking to you, just us having a conversation. They're always just so easy. And it's like that when we go. So I think you're going to have a lot of people interested in this. We're going to reshare it. Greg Ugaldi on, we'll put it back out there from YouTube so everybody can reuse it and repurpose it. And Tifanee, keep up the hard work. And you know what, Tifanee, why don't you plug RWC warranty real quick? Because I mean, that is your full-time job. That is
my
job, right?
Job. That is my full-time paying job, and I thank you for that. And we are an independently owned third-party warranty company, as you know, with written insured warranties to protect builders, limit their liability, help transfer that liability, all at the same time providing the home buyer with a clear, concise expectation of service and warranty on the homes that they build. So certainly anyone that has questions, you know, I'll talk to anybody. I'm willing to share whatever I know. So I appreciate that very much.
Well, you're very welcome and very well deserved, because that is the job that pays. And you were very selfless. Is that the correct word? You weren't thinking of yourself. You were talking about the NHB and the members, and this should have been a little bit of both. But I appreciate everything you do. We've used RWC many, many times for many, many years in our homes over the past, and thank you to everything that you do. And you know what? All this time you put in with the Building Systems Council, you rock, man. I'm so grateful.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I love doing it.
I know you and Ken Semler. Listen, you guys are rocking it. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah, you as well, Tiff. Bye now.
Bye.